The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors have commenced an indefinite strike, as announced by the association president, Emeka Orji, on Tuesday. Now, the decision to embark on this nationwide industrial action was reached during a meeting of NARD's National Executive Council. Earlier in July, NARD had issued a 2-week ultimatum to the federal government demanding the fulfillment of all their demands. Amongst the key demands outlined by NARD are the immediate payment of the 2023 Medical Residency Training Fund and the release of the circular on 141 replacement. They're also seeking the payment of skipping arrears and the review of the consolidated medical salary structures to match the 2014 value. Additional demands include the payment of arrears related to the consequential adjustment of the minimum wage for omitted doctors and the reversal of the Medical and Dental Councils of Nigeria's downgrading of membership certificates. NERD is also advocating for an increase in hazard allowance, skipping implementation, and the correction of CONMES in the state health institutions, as well as the payment of omitted hazard allowance arrears. Well, we are joined currently by the Publicity and Social Secretary of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Umar Musa. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us in the studio today, unfortunately with these circumstances.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
So the strike officially starts today. There was the 2-week ultimatum given. I feel like there have been a lot of ultimatums given. It has expired. We do know that the president of the House is met with an arm of the body and is asking for some time in order to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate some more. Please tell us your thoughts on this very long, drawn-out process.
Yeah, we have been engaging the government quite all right, and I want you to recall that this fight began since a year ago, in the year 2022, and we appreciate all the interventions by the Secretary to the government of the Federation and then the Speaker himself. But the truth of the matter is that doctors are dying because of the brain drain, and that is why we have been advocating for the 1-for-1 replacement. And then why we have been advocating for this, it's simple. Doctors have been leaving the country in droves, and then our study we conducted last year shows us that every month we lose about 200 doctors monthly. So if you calculate that per year, we lost about 2,400 doctors in a year to the offshores of Nigeria. And then you can see this brain drain, it's also external, it's internal. Internal in the sense that those in the state tertiary health institutions move towards the federal tertiary health institutions because there is an improved pay in the federal tertiary institutions. And then those in the tertiary health institutions now move offshores because the pay compared to what the Nigerian doctor gets is just 1/5 of what other doctors in Saudi Arabia, UK, Americas, Australia, and the rest receive as take-home. So now, look at our take-home. The take-home was reviewed in 2009. This is about 13 years ago, and it was implemented in 2014. So, and ideally, it is to be reviewed 5 yearly. So it has been long overdue for a review. So you can see that forming ad hoc committees here and there to review a document that has been long overdue, we felt it's not enough. The 1-for-1 circular, which is very simple, it's a committee that was put in place, chaired by the Federal Ministry of Health. There is a representative from the head of service, there is a representative from the budget office, a representative from NAD, and then a representative from the NMA, that's the Nigerian Medical Association. This committee concluded its work since last year, and it is just left for the Office of the Head of Service to release a circular, and then the circular, it's nowhere to be found. So you can see this is a non-monetary aspect of the demands of NAD. We are not asking too much for the government to release this circular, and this is just to what? To ameliorate the effects of the brain drain our members have been suffering from. And then if you look at the other issue, the downgrading of the membership certificates, it's painful because resident doctors go for these exams. Most of us spend 2-3 years before we go to these exams, and it's being regulated by the National Postgraduate Medical College. And then there is another college, the West African College. They are the ones that do regulate these exams. And then we go for these exams, spend money for updates and examination, and then a government agency, that's the Medical Dental Council of Nigeria, now downgrades that from category B to category C. And if the certificate just comes up, it just shows that you have acquired an additional education. What does that mean? All resident doctors are doctors in a specialty program. We are being, it's a postgraduate program that every of its graduates graduates as a specialty, as a consultant, as a specialist. And then you now add it up and you say, I just added an additional knowledge. You can see that this is a slap on our intelligence. It means we are just wasting time in doing our postgraduate studies. So that is what it means. So what we are calling for is just a reversal of what the Medical and Dental Council have done. You can see that this is a non-monetary aspect also. So now coming to the monetary aspect, it's something that any serious government within a blink of an eye can say, okay, take this, and then we now continue to discuss other issues. That's the issue of the Medical Residency Training Fund. The act, there was an act that came about in 2017, but it wasn't implemented until 2020. And then resident doctors have been enjoying this sponsorship since 2020. At this juncture, it's good that it will be clear to everyone that the government is not responsible for sponsoring the residency program. What they are giving is just a support for exams and updates, because we needed these updates before we qualify for these exams, and then we pay for these exams before we attend these exams. And this, according to the Act, these monies should be paid in the first 3 months of the year, because resident doctors attend exams in March, April, May. That's the first quarter of the year. And then they also attend exams in September, October, November. So you can see that resident doctors have attended in March, April, May. The funds is nowhere to be found. And then we are approaching September, October. And then this is the time that we are registering for these exams. The West African College have closed their portal for registration, and then that of the National Postgraduate College is to be closed in 7 days. So how can the resident doctors now afford to now go for these exams? Once a resident doctor misses these exams, he is to prepare for the next year. And you can see that hinders his progress as a resident doctor. And it's unfortunate, some may attend in the first attempt, they will not pass. That's natural. And then he or she needs also funds to go for the next exam. And the fund is nowhere to be found.
Very good.
So you can see that these are germane issues. And then we felt that these are just requests that can be solved quickly and within a blink of an eye.
Very good, Dr. Musa. Apparently, these are unresolved issues with previous governments leading into this one. So, do you think, realistically, this indefinite strike could have been avoided? Did you actually reach out to this government? What has been their response to this?
Yeah, we have been reaching out. Like I said
you
earlier.
said you've been reaching out. It's like how many times, and what was the nature of their response
to
you?
The president and all the national officers of NAD. You see, every day we parade the streets of Abuja, running from one office to another, either from the office of the minister, that's the Minister of Health, or that of Finance, or Budget Office. At times, it takes us taking documents from one office to another just to have these issues being solved. So we have been engaging. Recall that 2 months ago, before just some days to the handing over ceremony, there was an MOU which was reached with the previous government, which was led by Senator Ngige. That's the past Minister of Labor and Employment. And then this MOU, these challenges were highlighted in the MOU. And then they have timelines for which these challenges can be resolved. And then none has been attended to at this moment as I speak.
Okay, so what did the current government, how have they responded over this issue?
The current government, when we issued an ultimatum, 5th July, the PAMSEC, Minister of Labor and Employment, scheduled a meeting, stakeholder meetings, which involved the NAD, the NME, the Office of the Budget Office, the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation, and them to discuss this issue. What they are just asking is, she's requesting for more time to study the MOU that she has signed 2 months ago. So you can see the documents that you signed 2 months ago, and then you want to study the documents further. So I think any normal thinking individual will not accept this. And then, okay, good, we got an offer from the office of the Secretary General of the Federation. That's the secretary, the secretary to the government of the Federation. And then we went there, accept the goodwill from him, that we should give him 48 hours to resolve. Up to this time, as we speak, nothing has been done about his promises. Likewise, we took ourselves to the office of the Honorable Speaker of the House of Reps, and then the same thing. It is just promises from one office to another. And then some of these things can be implemented. Just release a circular will have a relief. Reverse the downgrading of the membership certificate will have a relief. This is just what we are asking. We are not asking too much.
It's, I feel like every couple of months we revisit this situation. It has to be even more frustrating for you, as this is you guys' your entire life career.
Yeah.
What are the doctors prepared to do now that this is the situation? Deliberations don't really go far. Yeah. You have explained this harrowing tale of pushing papers from one desk to the other, and it's not working. Papers expiring. It really is a frustrating situation. Yeah. What are the doctors preparing to do? Because these are the same doctors that they're trying to keep in Nigeria, to keep from jackpotting, for a lack of better description, or the brain drain. They're trying to curtail this brain drain, but at the same time, they're not doing anything to nurture the brains that are on ground. What are the doctors prepared to do?
Yeah, we are all Nigerians, no matter how bad it is. Some of us will still remain within the shores of Nigeria. We are patriotic as well. And then I want to say that we'll still remain in Nigeria, because we can't all together abandon our nation because of the bad governance we're having. So this is our plan for now, but you know that you cannot give that assurances for all the Nigerian doctors that are presently available for now. Those who will have their ways will definitely leave. And then we will see what we can do and try our best to put the nation ahead of our own personal decisions.
Can I,
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I feel that that's very kind and empathetic and altruistic, but it's not really working. You know?
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
At some point,
really.
putting the nation above one's individual needs is necessary.
Yeah.
But at other points, it's almost self-destructive.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, based on just a follow-up to that, if your demands realistically are not fully met, then what will happen next? Can you both find a common ground for truce to prevail at this rate? You've already alighted the lack of the lukewarm attitude so far towards your demands in this regard. So what's next at this rate?
Okay, for now, I think the immediate decision is for a total indefinite strike for now. And presently, we are in a meeting, and then if anything, if there is any progress for our demands, we will look at it and then as doctors as we are, we'll be compassionate enough to look at the progress is made. And the meeting is to hold, that's our executive session, is to hold on Friday. And that is why we are in Lagos, to further look at the issues. And then if there are progress within today, tomorrow, and then we'll now dissect those issues on Friday and then know what to do next.
Indeed.
Dr. Umar Issa, we wish you the best of luck with this uphill battle that all the doctors are facing. We thank you so much for joining us today on Newsday. All the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.